we see that we have scripted Amplify. And today we'll be, Amplify is all about a feature on entertainers, music, causes, or just personalities with messages worth strengthening or highlighting. And today, Ready My G, we're going to feature Mr. Erwin Clear, who is the founder of Team Jamaica Bickle. And he's joining us to share details about the company's latest donation through the defibrillators in schools program. Now, just a little background info. Some 35 automated external defibrillators, AEDs, valued around 75,000 US dollars, are to be distributed to 35 schools and institutions this Wednesday during a handover ceremony to be held on the campus of the University of Technology. Now, with the 35 machines, the program will have put defibrillators in 125 schools and institutions since the program commenced in 2014. The Team Jamaica Bickle Defibrillator to Schools program began after the loss of St. Jago High School student Kavan Mackenzie during a cross-country meet in Tobago. It spurred the entity into action as it relayed that there was a need to have emergency resources readily available to schools, especially at sporting events. So that's definitely a good look, Roddy My G, and it's an honor to welcome Mr. Erwin Clear to the program. Mr. Clear, Erwin.
Good morning, gentlemen.
And a pleasant one to you, Erwin. How you doing?
I am always good enough.
Nice.
When I'm on the rock, I'm in a good place.
Definitely.
We love that.
All right, not only the rock, but also a sturdy bridge. So we're glad to have you.
I was getting there, but you must remember, we're a part of the foundation, so
True.
That is a given.
Definitely.
So we're on the side of the rock that holds this side of the bridge down.
Yeah, man. And also talking about holding the bridge, you are building bridges and you are making a difference right here in Jamaica. What was the inspiration behind this initiative?
Well, first of all, Team Jamaica Bickle, an organization that we're going in our 30th year next year. We are I'd venture to say, one of the more prolific of philanthropic organizations dealing with sports, especially amateur sports. And for the past 30 years now, we have been providing for our athletes, especially those who come to the pen relays, and in general, athletes across the board, because we avail ourselves to help wherever we can. At the end of the day, it's about the welfare of the athletes. So we're attuned to things that seeks to uplift, provide opportunities for our athletes. So this aspect of our program, the defibrillators in schools, came out, as was mentioned just now, via Kavan Mackenzie, and it was re-heightened by the loss of Dominic James in that football match between, I think it was St. George's and Excelsior. And it spurred us on to want to say now, accelerate the need to deliver these machines. And it's a slow process, because it's a process too, that is changing a mindset and a culture. We're to understand that these novice sensitive machines, which means both you gentlemen and myself can use them, does save lives. And if you want to look at some immediacies and things that were trending in our community, you look at the gentleman who plays football for the Buffalo Bills. And then recently, you saw the situation with LeBron James's son. That was a defibrillator machine that saved his life. And then from a Jamaican perspective, a couple of years ago, Kimoy Campbell from Belfield, one of Jamaica's prolific long-distance runner, collapsed at the Armory in New York, and it was a AED that saved his life. So these are life-saving equipment, the type of gifts that you give to persons that you hope will not be used, but if they are used, it will save somebody's life.
Now, Mr. Clear, along with, because it's a fantastic initiative, as already mentioned, and with 125 schools, and because is it 125 schools so far that have been benefiting from the program so far?
With this 35 will bring us to that number. And within those two, would have impacted other institutions, because as I said, it's a change in culture.
That's right.
It's a change in how we provide for our athletes.
Understood.
It's not just about them going out there and run and we cheer them on. There's a lot of things that go into give assurances that there are things in place for their benefit. Jamaica has its challenges, recognizable so, challenges in all areas, but it does not stop us from going out and giving our all. And so groups like ourselves in the diaspora who see the need. We come from societies where before my child can go on the playing field, the coach has to have an AED machine. He has to be certified in CPR. These are important things. These are the kind of things we need to bring to Jamaica because our athletes, our ambassadors deserves those things too.
Certainly.
Because you and I know they're world beaters,
Yeah.
but we cannot marginalize on the basics. We have to make sure the basics are in place. And we are attempting to do that with partnerships. Hopefully, persons here in Jamaica, entities recognize the need and see where we can partner and not just sit in a rock stone and watch other people do things, but partner to get things done.
Now, as we are having this conversation, my mind is going to how you select the schools that you distribute these gifts to, and the circumstances under which they're used. And I say that against the background that you've mentioned that these are novice items, items that anyone can come up and use adequately. But are they geared when you're making these gifts? Who do you look at to benefit from these gifts, and what are the circumstances? Are they to be used on their everyday sports days, their everyday PE sessions, or are there for specific circumstances?
Wherever there's especially sports, because sports puts pressure on the body. These defibrillator machines are like a jump starter to jumpstart the heart, to get the heart at a place where it can be stabilized so that you can get it to a healthcare facility where they have what it takes to
properly resuscitate and maintain. Yes.
All right. So that's number one. Number two, the whole situation of selection. We concentrated primarily on those schools that were coming to the pen relays because they were our charge. And, so many of those schools would have gotten machines. Many of those schools are involved in high intensity sports transactions, whether it be football, whether it be track and field, etc. And so it is along that line. But there's also a special emphasis too placed on rural schools where there are lessened amount of medical facilities and infrastructures. So as a countryman, them say pass and pick them.
Christening pick the first, yes.
I'm not a person though, but anyway, but I'm a countryman. So we have a slant to that. And then there are also alumni associations too who are stakeholders who help to contribute monies towards these. So we also slant to their alma maters. Schools like the big schools, the Edwin Allens, they need 2 machines. They have a big program. The same thing goes to GC Foster. They have had several defibrillator machines presented to them, and they'll be presented again. UTech, we're looking at the community colleges. This year, we're donating to Netball Jamaica. Wow. We're donating to Volleyball Jamaica. In the past, we have donated to the stadium, to UWI. This year, Michael gets, and several other schools. And then over a period of time to replace some of the machines because, whereas we're not part of the maintenance aspect, the schools are expected to maintain their machines. I think as we develop the whole process, protocols will now be put in place. And I have to say kudos to Mr. Elton Johnson from the Physical Education Department in the Ministry of Education working with us in a great way, along with ISA and other entities here in Jamaica.
Because that was going to be my next question, Mr. Clear, because pardon the pun, because as you guys are aiming to jumpstart the mindset as it relates to protecting our athletes, I was going to ask, how has the response been from local authorities, governing bodies? Have you seen a jumpstart in their mindset as well?
Well, they need more than 2 jumpstarts, right? More than 2 AEDs. I think it's a slow process. I think people like myself who recognize when we recognize something, we want to get at it and get it going because we understand the urgencies. There are other factors here in Jamaica. We're looking forward to build bridges, to establish opportunities where we can coalesce and come up with a working document. We don't want no more blueprints, no more white paper to be, no consultants to come. We know what we need to do. We just need to get it going. There are some good people here in Jamaica, and we look forward to working with them to augment the process.
So further to highlighting what your organization is doing, What else can we do in this conversation to get people active and people who are hearing this conversation this morning? How do they get involved?
Good question. First of all, they should engage their schools to find out that they have an AED machine. School nurses, the coaches, all should get trained on CPR and have a knowledge of the AED machine and its importance. Get involved. Parents listening right now, having your child involved in sports. Find out what are the apparatus in place should in case there be emergency. What is in place? Find out. It's a responsibility of a collective. It's not a responsibility of a single person or entity. It's a collective. Parents, the students, the coaches, the school nurses, they all need to get themselves attuned to what's taking place here. Because, one life lost is too many, especially if we could have mitigated.
Definitely.
And so that's the mindset and the fervor to which we come to the table. We're saying from a Team Jamaica Bickle perspective, we will continue to leverage and harvest the resources to get the units. What we want to do now is to form relationship with companies and entities, quasi foundations here in Jamaica, I should say, that are involved in the welfare of the youngster, to also get involved. There's room for all to play a part in this, because to the wider sense, we should be having AEDs in all public spaces. In all public spaces, we should be having AEDs, because already Jamaica has a high propensity of heart conditions and stuff like that. We should be having these things in all public spaces. That's the ultimate. That's the end result we wish to see this thing go.
But the concentration right now is for schools and our athletes, and we appreciate that. Time is up on us, so Claire, how these things go. So I'll leave.
I know. But just before you go, I want to mention this. One of our solid support in this is the Second Round Foundation. That foundation is Jalen Brunson, and for all the Knicks fans, Jalen Brunson is a point guard for the New York Knicks, whose grandparents are Jamaicans. Okay. It's a kind of collaborative endeavors that we have to make this thing possible. And I want to say thanks to Dennis Shippen, as well as Jamaica National, and also Edelina Bernard, an athlete out of Panama, ran for Jamaica at one point in Venezuela, who are part of this whole making this impact as we'll be doing tomorrow at UTEC.
And speaking of the handover ceremony at UTEC, any further information you want to give to the Bridge Nation about time and so on?
Sure, it starts at 9 o'clock. And I must say, Bridge Nation, through your sister station, Ari Jam, is also a stakeholder in this. Of course. Of course, gentlemen.
Yes,
so,
that's true.
It's one family here. So we start at 9 o'clock, then we have a brief ceremony, and then the training will take place. Thereafter, we have some BLS experts out of the diaspora who has given up their time and efforts to be part of this. So people are contributing to make this thing happen. And I want to give a big shout out to Johan Blake as well. He'll be our special guest tomorrow.
Awesome. Right. Looking forward to, I'll be on air at that time. But
we'll be on air.
we continue to lend our support as best we can. Erwin, always a pleasure hearing and talking to you, my brethren.
One love. All the best.
Take care.
Yes, Bridge Nation, that was Mr. Erwin Clare, founder of Team Jamaica Bickle. And we're loving that defibrillators in schools program. It's a fantastic initiative. Let's support it, Bridge Nation. It's a good look.
Keep the conversation going. Talk to your sports department, your PE trainer, your coach them. What going for the school and hear about Jamaica Team Bickle.
Team Jamaica Bickle. Yeah, what am I going with? Yeah, what Mr. Clear them are going with? Yeah.
Talk to them.
Start the conversation.
Ask them. So what happen if my son drop down when he play sports later on? Wanna have?
Get the conversation going, people.